What's going on, YouTube world and YouTube tribe? Welcome back to LilBigMan Gaming, bringing you a continuation in this Will Smith saga. Now, Mr. Will Smith has resigned for the Academy, and we're about to get into what that means. Also, I want to go. It was supposed to be originally about this, about what the producer Will Packer said. So now it's going to be both of these things. I just want to go over this first, get to that video, and we're going to talk about what I think about both of these things. But first, let's get to the main thing is Will Smith has resigned from the Academy. By way of CNN, it goes as follows. After slapping presenter Chris Rock on stage at last weekend's Academy Awards, Will Smith announced in a statement Friday that he has resigned from the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Science. I am resigning from I just got tongue-tied. I am resigning from membership in the Academy of Motion Pictures and Arts and Science and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate, Smith said in a statement shared with CNN by his publicist. And, Smith's statements conclude, change takes time, and I am committed to doing the work to ensure that I never again allow violence to overtake reason. After the embarrassing episode at Sunday night's Oscars, the Academy announced on Wednesday that it had initiated disciplinary proceedings against Smith. I get to this in a moment after I get done reading this. I was going to say something, then I'm like, you know what? It sounds better if I say it afterwards. David Rubin, president of, I guess. Yes, he's the president. Okay, yeah, he's the president of the Academy. I was about to say but it wasn't no President Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Science said in a statement Friday that the organization has received and accepted Smith's immediate resignation. We will continue to move forward with our disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Smith for violations of the Academy standards of conduct in advance of our next scheduled board meeting on April 18th, Rubin added. Disciplinary actions by the Academy include suspension or expulsion, along with other sanctions permitted by the bylaws and standards of conduct, the organization said. Instead, Smith has willingly left the acclaimed organization of movie stars, directors, and producers by resigning. Smith will no longer be able to vote on Oscar-nominated movies and performances each year. His work, however, will still be eligible for future Oscar consideration and nominations. His statement read in full. Now, that was one of the things I was going to share afterwards was that what it means for him to resign, because I didn't know what that meant at first. Because then it was like, if he resigned, what's the need for further disciplinary actions? But then when I fully understood, I was like, okay, it doesn't stop him from certain things. I have directly responded to the Academy disciplinary hearing notice, and I will fully accept any and all consequences for my conduct. My actions at the 94th Academy Award presentation were shocking, painful, inexcusable. The list of those I have hurt is long and includes Chris, his family, many of my dear friends and loved ones, all those in attendance and global audience at home. I betrayed the trust of the Academy. I deprived other nominees and winners of their opportunity to celebrate and be celebrated for their extraordinary work. I am heartbroken. I want to put the focus back on those who deserve attention for their achievements and allow the Academy to get back to the incredible work it does to support creativity, artistry, and film. So I am resigning from membership in the Academy of Motion Pictures, Arts, and Science and will accept any further consequences the board deems appropriate. And then that's what he said, change take time, blah, blah, blah. Okay. It says Friday's statement was by far Smith's most concrete take on the matter. He initially apologized to the Academy during his televised acceptance speech for Best Actor about 40 minutes after the slap, but in the speech, he did not apologize to Rock. Smith publicly apologized to Rock the next day via social media, but he was much more critical of himself on Friday, calling his actions shocking, painful, and inexcusable. Yeah, it was. His it was it really was shocking because when it happened, you didn't think you didn't think it was real. You thought, okay, this was a bit, this was a skit. Until he sat down, and started cussing at him, it was like, whoa, this is real. This is real. Okay, wow. So I'm sitting here like, man, this. So he resigns. My reaction to this is that I think this was not publicity, but I think this was pretty much what he had to do. It was probably not the right thing to do. His publicist probably told him he needed to do that to stop salvaging this stuff. But he just should have never done it. He said it so himself. He should have done it. And I think honestly, it. The man Chris Rock said that he did not know. That's what's being reported. That he did not know about Jada Pickett Smith condition with alopecia. So, by him saying, so if he's saying, and this is what's being reported, that he don't know, by saying that, he's directly telling us and Will Smith, he legit was not making fun of her condition. It might have been a jab at her having a bald head, but it wasn't at her condition. He was just saying, I guess at best of a worst thing, it was like he said, "Look, you got a bald head. It reminds me of Divvy Moore and G.I. Jane. I want to see you in G.I. Jane too." And honestly, I honestly would see that if she was cast as G.I. Jane. Or if she was cast in G.I. Jane 2, I would honestly go see it because she could pull it off. Jada's been one of those people who could pull off the short hair or no hair look. And that's why if you wonder why people are saying it wasn't that bad, because it really wasn't that bad. He was comparing her to an action hero from a movie. Was it a jab at her having a bald head? Yes. That's probably like the worst of it could get, was a jab at her with a bald head, but if this man saying he did not know, at best, that's all you could truly say it was then. You only could truly say, oh, it was just a jab at her having a bald head. And a lot of people's been saying it, but if he did know, then you're wrong. You made a jab. If you know she had alopecia and she's been struggling with this, then you're wrong. You're wrong then. But you can't be wrong if you didn't know for the joke, because you didn't know what you was making the joke about. Now you could say, maybe, like I've been saying this, can I say he's wrong for not informing himself? Yeah. My friend told me all he had to do was a quick Google search and you would have found out. But it's excusable because a lot of celebrities have come out and said up until this moment they had not known that she had alopecia. They just thought she was walking the ball cut. So it's obvious, or not obvious, but if you give him the benefit of the doubt and we saying this is true that he didn't know, then it's not hard to believe that he didn't know. Because a lot of celebrities said they didn't know. I didn't know because I don't really watch the Red Table Talk. I only watched the Red Table Talk 2 times. And that's when she was talking about her little sex addiction. She had like a little addiction to sex. I won't say what it was, what she was truly saying she was addicted to, but she had a little addiction to, and I think then when she was talking about her affair with August Alsina. That was the only other time. Those were the only 2 times I actually watched the Red Table Talk. I did not see the one where she talked about her having alopecia. I did not see that, and apparently a lot of people didn't. But I just rambled on a little bit. Let's get to this video real quick and see what this video is talking about. This video in particular is supposed to be from Will Packer's point of view of what was going on backstage at the time of the slap, and what was going through their minds and what was going through them as they witnessed this unfortunate event. I'm gonna have to stop it a little bit, cover time, because I don't want them to get mad at me for sawing the smack and stuff. So bear with me.
Fusion initially. It was followed by chaos and then conversations about what this thing was and the conversations many of us were having. Why was Will Smith allowed to stay in the room? Well, it turns out there was one person in particular, according to Will Packer, who was advocating for Will Smith to stay in the room. Chris Rock.
It sounds like Chris Rock had the ability, the option, to have the LAPD go arrest and remove Will Smith from that theater that night.
That's an absolute fact. The LAPD made it clear, we will do whatever you want us to do, and one of the options is that we will go and arrest him right now.
Will Packer is breaking his silence, giving details about what happened backstage in the immediate aftermath of that Oscar night shocker when Will Smith walked.
I have to stop it. This is one of the things I have to stop it on, just in case they sold it.
And slapped comedian Chris Rock.
Will Smith just smacked the out of me.
That moment came after what we now know was an unscripted joke from Rock about Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who's recently been vocal about her battle with alopecia.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
You're sitting, monitors around you. Tell me what's in your room around you.
I said, watch this. He's gonna kill. Because I knew he had an amazing lineup of jokes that we had. We had him in the prompter. And ultimately, he did not get to one joke. He didn't tell one of the planned jokes. He was just immediately freestyling. But I tell you, if there's anybody that you don't worry about going out in front of a live audience and riffing off the cuff, it's Chris Rock. Nobody's better.
But even as Smith made his way up,
We hadn't practiced it.
Not concerned.
I wasn't concerned at all.
As he's walking.
I figured, okay, you know, he's going to say something or come at him. Something funny is going to happen because that's the nature of Chris and that's the nature of Will. So let's see what happens.
Keep my butt.
I don't want those innuendos in there.
Stage was such vitriol, my heart dropped. And I just remember thinking, oh no, not like this. And Chris was keeping his head when everybody else was losing theirs. And then, you know, gave the quote.
That was a greatest night in the history of television. Okay.
But my heart at that point was just in my stomach because of everything about it and what it represented and what it looked like and who was involved. All of that was just, I've never felt so immediately devastated like I did in that moment.
but it still wasn't until Rock walked backstage that Packer was finally convinced that Smith had actually struck him.
The winners are walking off stage, Chris is with them, and I immediately go up to Chris.
And you say what or you do what?
I said, did he really hit you? And he looked at me and he goes, yeah. He goes, I just took a punch from Muhammad Ali, as only Chris can. He was immediately, you know, in joke mode, but you could tell that he was very much still in shock.
It's fascinating to hear that you had a few minutes to try to process or understand what had just taken place. But not until Chris Rock came off stage, you still were not sure if he'd been hit.
I knew it was clearly a confrontational moment because of what was happening from Will in the audience, but I still wasn't sure that he had actually struck him. I made that clear, like, Rock, you tell me, whatever you want to do, brother. And he was telling me, I'm fine. Let's just get past this. I'm getting out of here. I can't believe this happened. The LAPD came and needed to talk to Chris. And so they came into my office and they were laying out very clearly what Chris's rights were. And they were saying, this is battery. We will go get him. We are prepared. We're prepared to get him right now. You can press charges. We can arrest him. As they were talking, Chris was, he was being very dismissive of those options. He was like, no, I'm fine. He was like, no. And even to the point where I said, Rock, let him finish. And they said, would you like us to take any action? And he said no. He said no. And I didn't have any conversation with Will.
But the Academy says they asked Smith to leave, which he refused.
A lot of folks immediately were wondered why he got up, walked that far.
For the Best Actor award, Shayla told me that they were about to physically remove Will Smith. And I had not been a part of those conversations. And so I immediately went to the Academy leadership that was on site, and I said, Chris Rock doesn't want that. I said, Rock has made it clear that he does not want to make a bad situation worse. That was Chris's energy. His tone was not retaliatory. His tone was not aggressive and angry. And so I was advocating what Rock wanted in that time, which was not to physically remove Will Smith at that time, because as it has now been explained to me, that was the only option at that point. It has been explained to me that there was a conversation that I was not a part of to ask him to voluntarily leave.
Will Smith later said on Instagram,
Okay, I don't really think they talk about much else. It's interesting to see his point of view. I think we already heard that. I'm trying to see
To touch base
what he was saying about this.
with Will Smith.
Oh.
Will Smith reached out to me the next morning and said, and he apologized. And he said, this should have been a gigantic moment for you. And he expressed his embarrassment, and that was the extent of it.
Will Smith.
Well, it's a messed up situation. It really is. It's unfortunate that this situation had to happen. I would have preferred it not happen, but that's just me. I prefer, some people when they push to their limits, and I understand. I sympathize with Will Smith in that regard, because I understand what it's like to hold in anger and be pushed to your limit, and you just lose it. You explode with anger and you just react emotionally. And I learned that you can't do that. You can't. It's not a good thing. It's okay. It's a difference between ignoring somebody and holding in anger. Because when you're ignoring somebody, you're like, okay, it's not even bothering me, whatever. He's just being a butthole. It is what it is. But when you hold that anger in and don't resolve the issue, it builds. It builds and it builds. And it definitely built, because that man definitely went through something, and he definitely did not like what he was going through, and he definitely exploded. He went off on Chris, because I always said that smack wasn't just about that joke. That was pent up anger and frustration that just boiled over. Will Smith said he was wrong. I already said that Chris Rock was wrong if he knew, or if he didn't know but just did not inform himself. I already said he's wrong for if he did know. If he didn't know, he wasn't wrong for the joke. He was just wrong for not informing himself. But Will Smith is still, regardless of what you feel about Chris Rock, you do not have the right to go up on stage and strike someone because they said something. They said something that you didn't like. It is a freedom of speech. As long as that man don't come off that stage and strike you or your wife, you're not supposed to hit that man. You're supposed to roll with the punch and keep it moving. You could have did a whole lot of different things. You could have sat there and went like this to Chris, and Chris would have been like, he did not like that. He just looked at me with the killer eyes. He's looking at me like, bro, that was not good. I'm disappointed right now. Or he could have said, mm-mm. It was a lot of different things. Or you could have just stood up and cussed him out like you did. It was a lot of things you could have did other than getting up and hitting that man. And I say that because it is all on Will Smith right now. Regardless of how you feel about the situation, regardless of whose side you on, you look at what's going on, there is all on Will right now. Because no matter what you thought was wrong from Chris Rock, and why people not really on Chris Rock as much as they are on Will Smith, it's because Will Smith hit someone despite whatever you think and I think, even what he thinks, you can't hit somebody for saying something. And what Will did was a grievous mistake, and he shouldn't be too condemned for it, but he does. I feel like the punishment of resigning, of himself resigning, and then whatever punishment the Academy give him is more than enough punishment. Do I think he need to go to jail? At first, I will admit I don't like he should go to jail. That's assault. But then I'm like, no. But he shouldn't go. Now I'm like, no, he shouldn't go to jail. But he definitely should. He should be expelled. And he should have been removed. But it is what it is. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this, and what you think of this new development in the Will Smith and Chris Rock Oscar saga. And if you enjoyed this reaction, then hit this button right there in the upper right corner for all of my season 2 reactions. And if you enjoyed this reaction so much you want to support the channel, all you gotta do is hit that like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, do all those great things, because I will bring you more videos like this, because I know you want more videos like this. And as always, hit any one of these videos for more romantic content. On to some lighter things. I got some movie trailer reactions coming your way. So peace out.